What's up, guys? So I was scrolling through Instagram one day, right? And I heard this Tupac song that I've never heard before. Somebody that I follow, I think is a stylish guy, but he posted a Tupac song, right? And it caught my attention, one, because I've never heard it, but two, because he was talking about things in society that are happening right now, right? Which speaks volumes, right? It speaks to the volumes of the intelligence level of a Tupac Shakur. It speaks to how fucked up he's been through some stuff, right? Some stuff he's been through, right? And so I want to talk about, he addresses something in this song that's really prevalent in the feministic culture that we live in. And it's the breakdown of families and everything, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. I don't want to make this video too long like my Drake video was. But go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, like the video, right? And we're going to get into this right now. The song is called Still I Rise by Tupac, right? A very great song, right? I think it was released in 1999. He was already passed away, so it was some song he made, and they kept it in the stash and released it a little bit later, right? So let's get into it, right? Somebody wake me, I'm dreaming. I started as a seed, the semen, swimming upstream, planted in the womb while screaming. On tops was my pops, my mama screaming stop, talking about the sexual act, right? From a single drop, this is what they got, talking about him, like a child. Not to disrespect my people, but my papa was a loser. Only plan he had for mama was to fuck her and abuse her. How many times have you seen within your families, right? Or especially in the black community, right? You see these women choosing the wrong guys over and over and over again, right? And they suffer, but more importantly, the kid suffers, right? They suffer because they have to raise the kid and work and do all these things by themselves, right? Because they had sex with the wrong guy and got pregnant by the wrong guy, right? Then the kid only gets one perspective when it comes to growing up, because you need the masculine and the feminine energy to be raised up, right? They teach you, a woman teaches you something that a man can't teach you, and a man teaches you something that a woman can't teach you, right? So you need both parents in the household, right? And this is what he's talking about, right? Even as a little seed, I can see his plan for me. Stranded on welfare, another broken family. How many broken families do we have today simply because these people are having sex with the wrong people, right? This is what I'm saying. You got to understand and read people correctly, right? And you got to take your vet process of people extremely serious, right? Because if you have sex with the wrong person, have a kid with the wrong person, that shit has long-lasting effects. That's how you start a generational curse, right? From one mistake as big as that, right? Now, what was I supposed to be? A product of his heated passion. Mama got pregnant and Papa got a piece of ass. Talking about the hookup culture again, right? And the consequences of the hookup culture, right? Nobody wants to talk about this as deep, which is really interesting because Tupac seen this back in the 90s. So do you mean to tell me this stuff was going back in the 90s and now it's just normalized now? That's really startling. Really startling. Look how it began. Nobody gave a fuck about me. What did I say just a few seconds ago? The kid suffers the most out of everybody in the situation, right? Pistol in my hand. This cruel world could do without me. This is what that kid that grows up realizes. Once he realizes what happens, this is how he thinks. right? And you don't want him to think that way, right? You don't want him to think that you were an accident, that he was an accident in society that's going to fuck his head up. How can I survive, right? And this is talking about since they had sex with the wrong people, he's not in an environment where he can thrive in. He's in a poor area now. He's in a poor area and he has to do for himself. He didn't have the resources of, say, a family that before they had kids, they got married, or before they had kids, they had their finances straight. So by the time the kid grows up, they can provide for him in school and sports and give him the basic stuff, right? This is the consequences of them not planning for it and them having to raise a kid in the ghetto. And the kid in the ghetto having to figure out how to do for himself because his parents didn't plan properly. How can I survive? Got me asking white Jesus, will a nigga live or die? Because the Lord can't see us. In the deep, dark clouds of the projects ain't no sunshine, no sunny days, and we only play sometimes. Right? This talks about the fucked up things that you have to deal with in the ghetto, right? Now, the fucked up thing about this is that the kid is born into this, right? And he nothing he can do about it. It's the parents' fault that he's in a fucked up position, right? And because his parents is in a fucked up position, he has to grind that much harder to get up out of that position, right? Which speaks volumes to a person like Tupac, or a person that came from this environment and figured out a way to get out of it, right? When everybody's sleeping, I open my window, jump to the streets, and get to creeping. I can live or die. Hope I get some money before I'm gone. Talking about the poverty, right? You gotta constantly, right? Once you're in these areas, you gotta do some illegal shit because you don't have any access to legal shit, or nobody's telling you good information. So the only good money that you see of making is drug dealing or selling whatever, right? Another project story. I'm only 19 and trying to hustle on my own, on the spot where everybody and they pops trying to slang rocks. This talks back to the crack era and the Joe Biden era of all of these super predators and everybody getting locked up. And he says something really real in this next line, right? I'd rather go to college, but this is where the game stops. Wow. That line. See, he wishes his parents were in a better position so he don't have to go out and sell dope, that he don't gotta go out and commit crimes, right? And he want to be in a good family. He want to be loved properly. But because his parents didn't plan it out right, he realizes that he'll never get that from his parents. Don't get it wrong, because it's always on from dusk to dawn. You can buy rocks, glocks, or a herringbone. You can ask my man, he's a mind reader. Keep a 9 heater all the time. This is how we grind. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? Meet up at the cemetery, then get smoked out past the weed, nigga. That Hennessy keep me keyed. And then the last line, right? I was born not to make it, but I did. The tribulations of a ghetto kid still I rise, right? So, guys, Tupac knew what was going on back then. And he's talking about the situations and the things that we're dealing with today, right? And this is what happens when a kid is not planned properly. And he has to be raised in the ghetto. He has to go through all this unnecessary bullshit to make it out. Right? This is the product of the hookup culture. This is the product of feminism. This is the product of all these fucked up different ideologies that we have coming into one culture, right? Men and women, hard to get along nowadays. The roles are misunderstood. The men are women, the women are men, right? I don't know where we're going in society, but it's definitely not going in the right direction, right? And we got to do something fast to correct this, because if not, society is going to collapse. I'm not saying within our lifetime, but in the future lifetimes, it's definitely going to collapse, right? But that's my video. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Share the video, like the video. And we're out, man. Peace. Have a good one.